at my baby's bedroom. Well, the train is coming, and my baby's got to go. I believe she's leaving, not to come back no more. Well, the porter will hang, and the fireman rang the bell. Well, the porter will hang, and the fireman rang the bell. When the driving wheel stopped turning over, my poor heart began to swear. I stood and watched the train until it went around the bend. Stood and watched the train until it went around the bend. I began to believe I'll never see my baby's smiling face again. Well, the sun is sinking down behind the western horizon. Sun is sinking down behind the western horizon. Heavy ease begin to fall, baby, and here I am left all alone. Well, I would go out, sit on the old oak tree. Well, I would go out and sit on the old oak tree. But I ain't got nobody. Talk, baby, talk to me.
Well, I was born in Bastrop, Texas, a little bitty place. You could throw a rock over it with a slingshot. About 1903, December the 7th, they bombed Pearl Harbor on my birthday. You know, I used to hear old people put them on about it. I said, I'm mad at women. How come they had to pick out my birthday to do that? But they didn't know I existed. They just bombed it on that day, over 7th December.
What's your real name, and how did the Gray Ghost come about?
Well, it's Roosevelt Thomas Williams. I don't use it. I sign all my user signatures R.T. Williams. That's too much to put on a small envelope. All them words got a lot of letters on them. Roosevelt, Thomas, and the Williams. A small envelope, you didn't write off a small, you run out of space. But Uncle Sam wants your whole name when you fool with him. Sometime you might get a letter with Roosevelt T. Williams, according to what it is. But he wants your full name.
Maybe you can explain to folks where the name the Gray Ghost came from.
Oh, I'd come out of Smithfield. Mr. Yegan Hill and them high-class people there, they give them big dances, and I'd be in Amarillo or somewhere. But Jack Kraft, a friend of mine, he worked for him, chauffeured and cooked and everything. And they'd get him to get in touch with me and tell me they wanted to have a party or a big outfit up over the city hall and the day, and if I could come, and ask me if I could come, I'd let him know. And then they'd get me word back today, and they want me to play for the outfit. I'd tell them I'll be there, and so they'd go in and go to a lot of trouble spinning and fixing and for that certain day. And I'd catch that Fort Worth and Denver out of there and come on down to Fort Worth. And I'd catch another train and go on into Waco, and there I'll catch that comic. It'd be in Houston every morning at 7 o'clock. He'd leave there in the evening and arrive in Houston 7 o'clock the next morning. Stop in Smithfield. That was around. I'll change engines and things and do a thing. And I'd get off at Bastrop Where I was born, I had a few friends, off-branch kinfolk. And I'd hire somebody to take me to Smithville, just 18 miles. And they'd be looking for me, and they're about crazy. Then went to all that trouble, and Passion done run, a couple of buses done run. And I come walking up Main Street about 7:30, gonna start at 8. Here they come talking about, where'd you come from? We met the train, we met the bus, so and so and so and so. I said, well, that's all right, I'm here. That's all that's necessary. And they went to saying I come up out the ground, all that junk, like a ghost. And from that on, they carried it out.
Way out on the desert, looking at the burning sun. Way out on the desert, looking at the burning sun. Found no one you can love me like my baby done. Did you get that letter, baby, that I wrote to you? Did you get that letter that I wrote to you? Have you got my letter, baby? Do-we-do? I'm scared to call her name. I'm gonna leave your Noga town. Everybody gonna miss me when they don't see me hanging around. I'm gonna sing this song, but I swear I won't say nothing else. I'm gonna sing this voice, but I swear I won't say nothing else. If you wanna hear some more, you sure got to sing it yourself.
I got my schooling in Taylor, Texas. And after my mother passed, I went to Waco and started working on the corn press. And I was practicing music then. That's why I got in the racket and the full in Waco. A friend of mine, we went to school in Taylor, Baby Van. They had a piano, and he was learning, so me and him being friends, I'd go out there. We didn't have a piano. And we'd practice out there, and both of us got started. Out of the band, his cousin, he was a piano player, but he read and played classical music. They didn't even recognize him after me and Baby started trying to play, because he didn't play the kind of stuff people wanted around there. And that's the beginning of it.
Who were some of the people that you and Baby Van were listening to back in those days?
The man we were listening to didn't amount to much. Charlie Dillard, he was the elder man playing piano, but he couldn't play but one key as B flat. And We didn't try to follow him. George Mackey, he could play a lot of keys, but he was a progressive man, too. So all we got is what we heard on records and things like that. Pick it up. I always had a pretty good ear. I took music for a while, but that stuff run you crazy. And then you ain't got no oomph in it. If you don't put some of your own hot licks in it when you learn it, well, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got nowhere. And I could sing, and that's what helped me so much. I could imitate anybody that sung, women or men. I can't do it now, but I could then. I listened to people like Earl Hines, Count Basie, and them people, but they didn't even live in them parts. I just hear them through recordings, things like that. But I liked the style, and I picked it up. That is, not the Count Basie. I didn't pick his style up. I didn't like it that much. Then I hung around Houston. There was a few around I could play pretty good, and I took to some of these, and most of mine is my own things and stuff what I created or fixed like I wanted to play it. So I don't know nobody. I just tried to play like some people try to take pattern after somebody and play like them. I didn't pick out nobody. I used Earl Hines' bass with my left hand, those tenths and things, but just playing his style, I didn't do that. That's domino and all that, boy. Because you have to play all of it if you're going to make a living out of it. You can't just play one style, hillbilly or blues or progressive or popular music. You ain't going to get far. I found that out a long time ago. You got to mix it up.
How would you find out where there were people playing piano, and how would you approach them about working there?
You mean about playing piano?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'd fix it so they'd find out that I wasn't playing. If they wanted to hear it or they wanted me to test me, well, that'd be up to them, and then it'd be up to them whether they want to hire me or whatnot. I never went there asking for no job. But I never had no trouble. And most people in them places somewhere I know would know me. Not all the time, but they'd find out. They'd tell me, you so-and-so? I said, yeah, a little bit. That'd leak around, child. I'd get more jobs sometimes than I could handle. It's because I could sing, and so many people play piano and can't sing, can't even talk, much less sing. There's a lot of ham-fat piano players up on the north end and around, so I didn't bother about them. They was doing all right till I come in and dug in. Then if they wanted to have them house rent parties or whatever they had, unless I was tied up, they didn't get no more jobs.
How about some of the piano players in Waco?
Naturally, you know every musician in town, if he can play anything, if he just play fair, you'll know about it. Now, me and Son Alfred and his brother and all, he played clarinet and his brother played banjo. That bunch, we sort of pretty close, but there wasn't that many there. Son Alfred played clarinet and piano. Had another boy, a man that they called Eddie something, I don't know, stayed in the north end. He played, and had the guy they called Honey Fishy. He played a different style from everybody. His style wasn't so nice. He played them old draggy, low-down blues, and that's all he could play. But there wasn't no musicians there that I know of that minded anything when I went there. They was using what they had in them house rent parties. They'd charge 15 cents, 2 bits at the door and all that junk.
Brook runs in the river, river runs in the sea. Really about my baby, woman got the blues about me. Yes, and I believe I'll go back to dear old Tennessee. Ask my baby, what makes you treat me so? She said, look here, Daddy, I don't want you no more. I got the blues about my black gal. Yes, I know that woman got the blues about me. Yes, and I'm blue and I'm lonesome. Yes, I'm blue as any man can be. You know I love you, baby. I believe my love is all in vain. The way you treat me, darling, and you drive for me insane. Got the blues about my black girl. You know that woman got the blues about me. Yes, and I'm blue and I'm lonesome. Just as blue as any man can be. Yes, I woke up this morning. I looked at the burning sun. I asked my baby, please tell me what have I done. She's got the blues about my black girl. You know she got the blues about me. Yes, and I'm blue and I'm lonesome, darling. Yes, as any poor boy can be, but I know. Make you treat me so. He said, I got to tell you, Daddy, I mean for you to go. I got the blues about my black gal. You know that woman got the blues about me. Yes, and I'm blue and lonesome as any poor man can be. Oh, yeah.
How about Mercy D? We always hear about Mercy D, and we hear the records. Did you have much to do with him, or hear much of him?
No, I knew him, but we never run together. Was too close, nothing. Just I didn't know Lightning until I stayed on our line in Houston. He used to play at a cafe right across the street, and from where I lived, he'd be over there with his hair conked and his amplifier sitting up on another soda water case. Him sitting on a chair with one in his chair. And that's where he played. That's where I met him. And I think he lived out in Acres Home. I don't know. But I didn't meet none of them guys. Them Gatemouth and thing. I met Gatemouth and the one they call Widemouth, Brown. But we didn't run together and socialize that much.
The musicians he did know were T.D. Bell and Irving Bowser.
Well, they was from Rockdale and Austin, see. That's where they was from, T.'s homes in Rockdale, Texas. Bowser was Austinite. And them other fellas that passed, Boots Walden, Baby Dotson, the one that got that piano down there, his piano. Robert Shaw, well, that was about all of them that standing around now. I didn't recognize some of them because they didn't come on strong enough. Baby Dotson never did come on. He could play a few blues, and that's all. He wouldn't call him. Me and Boots run a roadhouse out there. He played pretty good, Boots Walden. And Shaw always thought he played. He used a kind of a church house bass with his left hand. And he played a few pieces. A piece I asked you about, and I said that's all he could play. I forget what they called it, but he wasn't hitting on it. He'd get us out there, and them university boys and things come out there to his house, and we'd invite us out, and we'd do most of the playing, see, me and Boots and them. You didn't have to try to play.
How about Joe Pullum?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know him. I know him. Not personally, but I know him and been around him several times. He in Houston. And I had a chance to meet him, but there ain't too many people there in the piano field that I had any much respect for because they couldn't play up what I could play. I played with Mr. Dan there 30 months, Italian at a nightclub, 2 years and a half, one spot. And we had that house packed every night. Didn't have no band, just had me and a drummer. One woman, but he'd have strip tease and stuff like that, you know, on different nights. Couldn't hardly get in there.
I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere. In this one room little country shack. Yes, I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere. In this one room little country shack. Well, Lord, it was a procession. His old ragged 11-foot cotton sack. I wake up every night about midnight. People, I just can't sleep no more. Wake up every night about midnight. You know I can't sleep no more. Well, I got the frogs and the crickets to keep me company. And the wind howling round my door. I'm crippled and blind.
But Houston was so low down. I just didn't like Houston. That's the reason I left. It wasn't a problem of money or a job.
When you say it was low down, can you be a little more specific?
Oh, so many things going on. Don't go nowhere else. Dirty things like robbery and house people running places, being in with the robber and black. They don't know the people, all that kind of junk. I didn't get robbed, nothing, because I knew I was hip to what they were doing. But if you come in and flash some money and went in that bathroom, you wouldn't come out with nothing, because he's going to tell you to come out in the next 3 to 5 minutes, he'd kill you. And he been going out the front, and the man claimed he has seen him, been dropping in there for a day or two. He don't know what his name is. He's been hanging around there, and he knows him well. All they want to know is what did he get from you, and you tell him that's what he want to know, so he can get his 50% cut of it. That's why I said that. And that ain't just in one ward, 3rd ward, or nothing. It's 5th ward, 4th ward, and most all over town, about South Acres Home, something like that, might be different. They swear a woman coming out of uniforms on, get you $20 bill, gonna pay for your breakfast. He said, where's that lady with my chain? He said, which one was it? He go looking, well, them women he got in there working ain't the one that he give the money to. He said, I don't see it. These ain't none of them. I said, these don't want women to work here. Man, you can give your money to somebody on the way to work. That's what he gonna tell you. Then she don't come down all day. She come down at night, but he wouldn't know if he saw her, of course she got all that flake white on a different wig or wig period. And I just didn't trust that place. People sitting on soda water cases with dog glasses on, looking over the glasses. I laid for them, though. And me and my friends would go down there and go somewhere. One of us go to the bathroom at the time. Both of us had a 3-8 automatic in our shirt sleeve, and had our shirt blouse. And he went in there, and somebody got up a little bit after he went in there and went behind him. I went right in behind him. He done me the same way. We never had no trouble.
I always wondered, as a piano player, do you get an uneasy feeling when you're in places like that, turning your back on the crowd?
Unless you're a type of guy and got sense enough to know how to carry yourself, you'd be wise to be kind of skeptical. But when I go to places like that, or anywhere, I keep them women far away from me, because people are a little shy and jealous of musicians and anybody in kind of professional. And they could hurt you thinking something that wasn't even so. So I don't bother them. I get in with the men before I think about a girl or a woman, and make friends with them, and then they'll guide you. They say, yeah, she got a boyfriend, but he ain't much. If you want to talk to her, you go ahead and talk to her. That's the way they done me in Houston. I found out them were the baddest folks in that town. There's 3 of them. That's in the 3rd ward, but everybody knew them all over town. And I wasn't scared to start with, and after I had them behind me, I didn't bother nobody's wife, but if a woman is free, much right, and I want to talk to her, I talk to her. Nah, it's a sorry place. I left there on going to Corpus. I had a job out on the highway playing music at the nightclub. My people talked me out of that when I got to Austin. About so many people left home, went down and got killed. Get killed anyway if you don't know how to carry yourself or treat people right.
What went on in Corpus Christi that was so worrisome?
Corpus Christi is all right in this place, but see, they got a lot of them sailors and seamen comes in on them ships, and they're pretty rough. I remember several times I went there and somebody brought a man out the front door after him with a knife and all that junk. Corpus ain't such a good place. It's seaport-like town, and they get pretty rough there sometimes when they coming out on them ships. I liked the town, but I didn't like the people of the town, which had to socialize with. They wouldn't do. I mean, you know, people like that makes you treacherous yourself, because you don't want. I'd rather go to my dad's funeral than to go to mine. never forget, I was in Abilene. I stayed there quite a while. A woman come to the church house on Sunday morning and killed a woman when she come to church. She told her twice to leave her husband alone. Had witness to that. She was going to bully the woman because the woman was quiet and peaceful, and she figured she wouldn't do nothing to her. Killed her. She never did get in the church. And they didn't do nothing to her. Give her a spending center. Because she had witnesses. She had warned her and told her, asked her to leave her husband alone. So we're trying to get along, trying to live happy. And you talk to him, don't talk to me. That's what they said she told her. There was a place once where they had a gambling shack, and a place where the piano was, where they danced and drinking that grape juice and pouring snuff in it and all that. I don't know what they wasn't doing to get high. And they killed the man in the gambling shack and brought him outside and laid him downside the house and went on to talk about he's way overdue and went on back and then went to gambling. I said, Next morning I drawed some money to go buy me some underclothes, and I kept on with the underclothes till I wound up in Luling, Texas. I spent the night in Houston, got me a room and slept. The next day I went on to Luling. Down Louisiana. But it's a whole lot different in life down there than it is here or anywhere else. And people down there is nice people. They're going to treat you nice, but you better keep your slate clean if you're going down there and mess with any of those people, women down there, because you come up graveyard dead. These Texas boys, they teach them some sense when they go down there. She's not going to trifle or fool around when you know kind of way. I know, I've been around and seen them and shake my head. You could come up there with a pickup truck of money and say, hey, if you just talk right or come in here a little while, you just help yourself to that money. She said, no, I couldn't do that. So how would you like if I was your girlfriend and I fooled with another man? That's what she's going to ask you. How would you like it if, she was your girlfriend and she was fooling with another man, not another man? Well, you can't say you'd like it. You know you couldn't say that. Thought you were going to tell the biggest lie of your life. And she ain't going to travel on you, and brother, you better straighten up and fly right. Don't you wake up and she be sitting right astraddle your stomach, your chest, with an ice pick and a pistol, not crying a dog. She ain't crying for one thing. If she kill you, she won't have you no more, and that's what she's crying about. But I told George Francis, I said, man, you better straighten up. He wasn't doing them, but he's flating and bullcorning, And I was going with a woman's sister in the next room. I said, I seem like I hear somebody crying. And we got quiet, and she said, I do. I said, I think that's it. And we got there and found a crack and looked at her, and she said, straddle that guy with a knife and a gun. And we finally got in there, and she got close enough to talk to her and get off with him, not hurting him. And when I come south down to Smithville and Bastrop and LaGrange, where I was going to come anyway, she said, George followed me down there. He left her. He's a trumpet player. I wrote him a many times. I said, no, you sharp cat. You have to go. I'm going down there with you. You say you're going down there and get on Sugarfoot Green's show. He had a show. He showed it to schoolhouses, nice, clean show. And he showed it all the high schools and things around these little towns. And he followed me away from there. He's scared to death. So it's the way you carry yourself. You can go anywhere. I tell them in a minute, y'all go back. I can hear what you say. They start up on a platform where the piano maybe 2 or 3 steps up. Asked me can I play certain things. I said, I can hear you from down there. Some of them will tell you they ain't got no husband. When I said, ain't a matter of that, I can hear you from down there, whatever you want to ask me. I never had no trouble.
Well, I'm watching every devil. Ain't touching on me. Well, I'm watching every devil. Ain't touching on me. I ain't doing no more favors. Ain't giving no more pain. Every goodbye ain't gone. Every Jedi joint. Every goodbye ain't gone. Every Jedi joint. The important thing about my business is the things I try to do. My baby kissed me this morning, and she even combed my hair. My baby kissed me this morning, and she even combed my hair. And I believe to my soul, darling, she got a dead cross town somewhere. Well, my eyes come open when she thought that she was gone. Well, my eyes come open when she thought that she was gone. Go to sleep, Daddy. I'm just trying my new dress on.
Mr. Popeye Johnson. Call the number of the trains I ride. I'm gonna call the number of the trains I ride. Number 1, number 2, 3, number 4 and 5. Number 1 done gone. Number 2 standing in the yard. Number 1 done gone. Number 2 standing in the yard. I want to see my baby. Another man have got me barred. Sometimes I think women and whiskey are going to be my ruin. Sometimes I think women and whiskey, gonna be my ruin. I know I can't live great long time, Mama, if I keep on doing like I'm doing. T for Texas, T for Tennessee. T for Texas, T for Tennessee. I mean it's T for T, Mama. Well, I want to see Popeye Johnson and Ghost with the Popeye Johnson Blues. Yes, yes.
You know, as a veteran train hopper, maybe for the folks listening, you could give us some advice on the old days. What were some of the rules that you made for yourself or that you found for yourself when you'd ride a train? What were some things that you should do and some things that you shouldn't do that keep you out of trouble?
Well, there wasn't no trouble to it. All you had to do was try to keep yourself clean by putting on an overall suit over your suit and tie and whatnot, going out where you're going, whether you can any extra clothes or not, and get on the train and go to ride. Find your place. It's kind of comfortable, like an empty car, a box car. If you couldn't do that, try to get in an empty gondola where you couldn't fall off or nothing. Them oil tanks are the worst place to try to ride and hug that iron around there to hold on. You like, too dangerous. But I never thought nothing about it. We'd go out to Sears to see girls on ride the freight out there. They stop and take water, all of them at Sears, Texas, little, wasn't nothing out there but a store. And we'd go out there, and when we get ready to go back, we wait till one of them freights come and stop there for water, and we get on it and go on back wherever we come from. It's fun to us.
Well, you see in the movie, you always have the, the mean brakemen trying to throw the riders off the train. You ever run into any kind of experiences like that?
Yeah, some of them would try to put you off, but most of them didn't bother you because they didn't know. You figure you might grab them and push them under them wheels or something, They'd go back to the caboose or go to the engine. And if they could get word, used to a few towns, they'd have the loader come in and shake the train down, all like that. But I never was arrested, never was bothered. And after my mother passed, I worried so much I like to have a nervous breakdown. And I'd get on them trains going somewhere. I had a terrible mind. It was wrong, but can't help how you feel. I figured after she passed, I'd lost everything, and I wasn't going to be arrested, so I had a .380 automatic pistol with 9 bullets in it. And I kept it on me riding them trains. They just didn't bother me, and I didn't bother them. But I'd made up within myself I wasn't going to be arrested. I'd rather go on down and get it over with. But now that wasn't right. But you can get in that shape worrying. Some kids may not care. See, I cared about my folks. But I rode a train many times with a pistol. I wasn't going to be arrested. Now, I've been on 3 trains at wreck, but in the wreck, I got off just at the town behind and got in another place, in the same place I was. All of them went in the ditch. And it ain't for you. The Lord with you, you ain't nothing going to happen to you. I stopped in Temple at Son of Boy Pendergrass. He's an undertaker, friend of mine from Smithfield. Have a little fun, and I'd go on to Waco the next day. My sister had moved. I didn't know. I know the street, what she said she stayed on, but I didn't know exactly the house. And I got off there, and so we could have a little fun. And it's 3 or 4 people on the same train, and they was all in that boxcar, and I got off the train, went on down there. I guess about halfway to Waco, and it started around one of them could and put 16 oil cars in the ditch. But nobody survived. I'd have been in the mess. And they told me when they come up, you sure would be glad you didn't stay on that train. I said, what happened? Nothing, just 16 of them, all of them on there was dead, killed. I come out of Austin on the Missouri Pacific, down gently. And we come around that curve, we stopped at that hurdle where that old car was jumping up and down, and that's the way, And I said, let me get off of this thing before I nod or something and get shook off here and get killed. And I went on up there toward the engine, found a coal car and crawled over in it. And we got the tail end while we went around that stop and come around that curve, coming into town, the edge of town, that old creek there they called Mustang Creek, just across that. They had oil running down side of the road like water, where it busted them tanks when it went off. And I was on them tanks all the time. So you see, if it ain't for you, you ain't going to get it. And, I had 3 of those capers out of the way that I don't know why I didn't stay where I was or not. But that night, I got off that train at Sears, they took water. I said, let me find me a place up here. I told that boy with me, we'd been to LaGrange down there playing a little dance at the KP Hall. I said, before we fall off this thing and get killed, sleep in, had proper sleep. And we walked around and found a boxcar open right next to the engine. We crawled in there, and before we got in there good, man, we were not about to sleep, just tired. Went on that, and this is turn that curve going into Elgin. Train brakes was grabbing and made a lot of racket. I said, "What is that?" It's like I heard the engineer said to the foreman, "What happened back there?" He got off and walked back there, and he said, "Ain't nothing but about 8 or 10 cars in the ditch back there all the time." We jumped straight up and got out that car and walked on into Elgin. And of course, when they come through Elgin going north, we going to Taylor. We got on where the left of it. They went out there and got the cars that didn't wreck and brought them into town. Called a wreck at Smithville, and they come out to take care of the rest of it. But
That didn't give you second thoughts when you see a train pile up like that? That didn't shake you up a little bit, make you want to walk a little ways before you got back on?
No, I tell you my eyes about it. Of course, maybe you may say it's stupid. I mean, that doesn't matter. What's for you, you're going to get it. You can't go around it. But if the Lord will for you to die by train or car, you're not going to die. You're going to survive. But when your bound is up, you can't go over. Now, I've caught trains and knowed about all of that after then, with that one thing in mind. If it's the way I got to go, I can't get around it. You can't dodge it. If it's for you, you're going to get it. And if it ain't for you, that's what I tell them about man. Man can't do but talk. If the Lord ain't the Lord's will for him to do something to you, he can't do nothing. I know a woman in Waco got shot back of the head and come out here by her nose, the bullet did. And I was scared of that woman. I don't want to get close to me because she's supposed to have been dead. And the guy that shot her in the hairdresser place, he went on down the street and shot himself. The ambulance come by and got her and then picked him up. They would have left him laying there. He's going to this woman. She had a husband. Of course, she was wrong to start with, but she told him that her husband was good to her, and she decided that she's going to try to treat him right. He's nice to her, and she's going to quit messing around. That's what he shot her about. And he went in that hairdressing place, and she was in the chair, and the woman had been waiting on him, and she sort of backed off while they was talking. And he shot her back of the head and come out right by her nose right there. How in the hell can you survive? Shot through the head. But every time I'd see her, I'd say she was supposed to be dead. But she wasn't. He shot himself and fell down and then tried to get up. I was on 11 and Dutton Street in Waco. I remember it just as well.
Well, hold that train, conductor. Don't let that engine now start. Please hold that train, conductor. Don't let that engine now start. Well, I got to ride your train this morning just to ease my raging heart. For the last 3 mornings before I get out of my bed. Yes, for the last 3 mornings before I get out of my bed. Well, I can hear your whistle morning, and it almost drove me out of my head. found out when you start rolling. Yeah, I got your money right here in my hand. Well, I pay my fare when you start rolling. I've got your money right here in my hand. Back and get a ticket, but I'm afraid to take the chance. Yes, I've got your money right here in my hand. Yes, I pay my fare when you start rolling. Got your money right here in my hand. Yeah, I know I should go back and get a ticket, but I'm afraid to take the chance. Well, you know I know you, baby. You some mochi pop. Yes, you know you, baby. You a mochi pop. Well, it ain't no city, just a little old western stop. No, I already know you, baby. Yes, you mochi pop. Now that you remember me, baby, please don't hold me so tight. Cause we're standing on the corner, and it may not look just right. Long time, baby, since I carried your books to school. Been a long time since I carried your books to school. Used to have so much fun riding on Grandpa's mule. But I'm gonna jump into my roadmaster. This time we're gonna ride in class. We're gonna jump into my roadmaster. This time we're gonna ride in class. We're gonna forget about the future and think about the past. If I could be with you, I'd love you so. Yes, if I could be with you, I'd love you, love. I want you to know I wouldn't go until I tell you what makes me love you so. If I could be with you, it's Tyler too low. 1 hour tonight, you're gonna hear that too. I'm telling you true. Yes, I'd be anything but blue if I could be with you just 1 hour. If I could be with you.
How about medicine shows? We haven't talked about that at all. You tell me anything experience with the medicine shows? How'd you hook up with them, and what were they like?
Well, there's nothing to it. It's just a traveling outfit that goes everywhere and sells medicine. You play the show, but now they got a few people like comedians that might sing and crack jokes. And by me being able to play in most keys, it wasn't no trouble for me. All I do is get the key they're singing and let them sing it, just start to sing it without music. I'd pick it up and follow them several times, and I could go down with it.
The thing that's interesting about that, today, those of us that are around have no idea what it was about. Can you describe a performance?
Well, they got a show. Some of them have good a show you could have if you went to a tent and paid a salary. And it's all free. Well, we had a platform. We put up a little stage, and had a background canvas, but you go up the steps and get on that stage and had it lit up with lights up at the top. And we could see the people standing down on the ground all around. People don't want to stand out there and sit out there, nothing. Just dry, you'd play overtures, something that might interest people, not no blues or nothing, just some kind of song that was popular. And then when they get ready to put the show on, well, you disappear, and they make an announcement about the show coming on. Then when they get ready, you open up the show with whatever song they're going to open it up with. They dance and do the show. And after the show, they talk that medicine, and they sell quite a bit of it. Because some of that medicine, they make it up with that all the wintergreen and stuff. If you got a pain in your arm or somewhere and they rub it with that pain's gone. It won't cure it, but it'll stop it from hurting you. And one or two of them people testify to that in that crowd, and they can't get out there with it fast enough, people buying it. And when they start out there selling that medicine, hollering sold out, doctor, and go back and get some more and all that, well, you just play overtures while that's going on.
How many people involved in the shows that you worked in? How many people in all would be in a troupe?
Oh, I don't know. They didn't have no women on there. It was all men. They all sell that medicine when the show wasn't going on. It's about 6 or 7 of them.
How long would a show like that go on? I mean, what would be the length of a performance?
Oh, I guess 30 or 40 minutes at the best.
How often would they do that? Would it be during the afternoon, the evening?
Night.
At night.
Sometimes they'd do it on Saturday evening, some of these little towns up there. They'd open up, but most of it's nighttime.
Would you do that just on the weekends, or would that happen during the weekdays, too?
Oh, every day in the week. When they're in the town, and every night, that show's going on. And people in them little places ain't got nowhere to go. They'll go down there, and if they find out that medicine, he said it as a help will stop pain or whatever you ails you. And see them people buy it, and somebody tells somebody how good it was, Charlie. They buy it, man, out. Teetlax and all that people, them companies that made that stuff. It was good.
How often could you play one town? Could you do one show in a town or 2 shows, and then you'd have to move on, or could you be there a couple of days? Or did it depend on the size of the town?
We'd be there a week. Sometimes we'd stay over in the second week. They didn't have no limitation. As long as the show was paying off, they're buying that medicine. You could stay there if you wanted, but if it wasn't too good, you'd make arrangements and we'd move on a Sunday to the next spot and put up our little outfit for Monday night.
Would they have an advance man? Would a guy go into the next town that you thought you were going to go in and put up some posters or something like that? Or would you just hit town cold?
He'd drive away. It wouldn't be too far. And get the spot where you're going to put up the show at. And see, they'd leave this town where we're at on Sunday. Not Saturday night. We wouldn't go. They'd go to bed and get up Sunday and then move in and they'd be ready Monday night. Everybody go down and get them a room, a place to stay, or whatever they wanted. Monday they'd put that thing up and have it ready way before night. That goes on, but you stayed sometime a week or 2 weeks in one place.
How about the law? You ever have any trouble with the law? Would they give the medicine shows any problem coming through?
The law?
Yeah.
No. They don't want nothing but that little money they get for taxes, you know. If somebody rent it, you get a permit, pay a little money, they get a little money out of it. That's all they want. That's all. But they travel quite a bit. They went to all states and things. But that's just a hot time of year. Sure, you couldn't use that up late up in the fall. Too cool, too chilly.
My heart's sad and I'm awful blue. My baby's treating me mean. I regret the day I ever sang, and that man of mine I ever sang. My happiness, it never lasts a day. My heart is almost breaking while I say, oh, good girl, it's hard to find. You always get that other kind. Just when you think she your pal, look for her and find her fooling around some other man, and then you ray, even pray to see her dead and in her grave. If you gal is nice, take my advice. Kiss her every morning, hug her every night. Give a lot to love and treat you good, gal, right? Cause a good gal nowadays is hard to find. Yeah, but that ain't what hard to find. That's what hard to find. A good meal, so hard to find. You always get that no good kind. You walk into a cafe, have a seat, see a sign reading pay off, yeah, before you eat. Then you rave and you pray for all those dimes you wished you'd have saved. You got 2 bits, take my advice. Then a nickel in the morning, another one at night. Put the rest down in your pocket and you hold it tight. Because a good meal nowadays is hard to find. Yes, a good girl is hard to find. You always get, yes, that no good time. Yes, when you think that she's your pal, you look for her and you find her fooling around some other man, and then you ray. You even pray. You want to see her dead and in a grave. That your gal is nice, take my advice. Hug her in the morning, kiss her in the night. Give a lot to love and then treat her right. Because a good gal nowadays so hard to find, yeah.
Can you tell us some of the other nicknames you had other than Gray Ghost?
Well, it's been a way to that. Called Son Putney in Waco. That wasn't my name, that was a grandfather's name. And up in Oklahoma, they called me Piano Son. And I don't know, over there around Luling, they called me JD and wanted to call me a show. I told them I wasn't no show, I was a William. But they give you all kind of nicknames. But I don't pay that no mind. Son, kid, son, putting the piano, son. You see, in Taylor, that's what they call me, son, kid. Everybody over there that lived in Taylor now that knows me, that's what they call me. And one of my grandfathers was named Kid Jones, and they said I was just like him or something, I don't know. Son, kid. You always tell where they was from what they called you. I could tell where they're from, Oklahoma, Texas, or what town. But a name, what they call me, what they know, the nickname, what I mean.
Let me tell you a story that I heard. Little goes by, little bird. If you don't know what it's all about, these women, yes, I said, put you out. How come you do me like you do? Don't my love mean a thing to you? Tell me, baby, how come you want to make me feel so blue? Woman, what's the matter with you? Take all my money and you throw it away. Tell me, don't you know that ain't no way? Yes, on Saturday you go your way. Woman, what's the matter with you? Keep on digging, always digging, Saturday and Sunday too. You don't care, you don't fail. My love don't mean a thing to you. Take all my money and you leave me broke. Walk around laughing, I say, boy, you smoke. Yeah, you tell everybody, say, he ain't nothing but a big joke. Woman, what's the matter with you? Keep on digging, yes, always digging. Saturday and Sunday too. You don't care, no, you don't feel. My love don't mean one thing to you. Walk around laughing, leave me broke. Yes, walk around just laughing, baby, while you smoke. Tell everybody say he ain't nothing but a joke. Baby, what's the matter with you? Baby, woman, baby, what's the matter with you?
How did you manage to be around Texas, be a well-respected player, and miss recording all those years? Didn't anybody ever want to record you?
Oh, they did. Some people come up at the university, Mr. Hoyt know him, from down in Navasota, had me to record music for him, and he tell me about sending me, sign up and get some royalty. I told him forget about it, just whatever they do with it, that's all right. I didn't try to get nothing out of it. I was playing on that for skating rink. They'd going round and round skating. They had a piano over there. And I'd play every now and then. They come down there from the university. And that's why they got over to the Hitler blues down there, what I composed. But, oh man, that's way back there. You can remember, I guess, when Hitler was in his prime, or heard about him if you wasn't here. Well, that was in them days. The song was about him. Hitlerism. Mussolini, as Italian, I think. But I had all them involved in voices in that song I composed about Hitler. It rhymed good. They sent it to London and they played it over there. I'm sure Germany people heard it. I don't know how they felt about Hitler. But I used to have them lay up and I said, I ain't gonna play that piece. I ain't had that man coming after me. But I wasn't scared of that. I was just putting them on.
Yeah, I heard you say you play for a skating rink. Did you play any different there than you play other places? I mean, did you have to play special pieces or play them in a special way?
No, you wouldn't go there. A skating rink, go to playing blues, and then you'd play some kind of tempo or progressive music, something. Maybe 12th Street Rag or Shine on Harvest Moon or Donna, things like that, you know. They skating, but it's just them having music at the skating rink.
Would the skaters ever be after you to play special pieces for them?
Oh, you know, somebody always gonna ask you, can you play so and so? But they stopped. All them skaters stopped when they come in and recorded that piece. They stand there listening.
Talk about Riverside. Gonna see him in no man's land. When you talk about Riverside, gonna see him in no man's land. You got the one so hit the river, every man in that land. Started out being so papa, and his arm making horses out. Started out being so papa, and his arm making horses out. When the good years come there, I won't be there, there's nowhere around. Oh, people, I've got the hill of down. Oh, people, I've got the hill of down. Said the old friend, I remember overrated man said he's gone. And when he's dead and gone, I'll be feasting every night. When he's dead and gone, I'll be feasting every night. But I want to tell you, Marcelina, you got the Jews out there, you got.
I work for a man from Kentucky, and he like me how to make recipes, how to make a whiskey 3 kinds, And the recipe to make pure grain alcohol out of iced potatoes and sugar would cost for some equipment for that alcohol. You got to have something like a cylinder where you can put them iced potatoes and slice them and layer iced potatoes and cover it with sugar and then put another layer on it and have it in a warm place where it can ferment and a hole in the bottom of that churn or whatever you got it in that cylinder like. Then you put the weights on top of that cylinder to mash it down and it ferment. When it comes out the bottom of that churn, it's pure grain alcohol. Iced potatoes and sugar, you wouldn't believe that. Of course, whiskey, you can set that with chops, corn chops, and yeast cake. Make corn whiskey. You can make fruit whiskey out of prunes, peaches, apricots, stuff like that. Then you can make rye whiskey. Use rye instead of peaches or corn chops. And you can't get a copper cooker. That's harder than about impossible because they don't make them for them kind of bootleg outfits. But you can get ordinary, just an old zinc or tin 5-gallon oil can. Fix your cork to go in there where you pour that oil out tight and put your copper pipe down in there, haul it out and seal it. And put that copper coil in some water. And if you want it, it's better to put about 25-pound piece of ice in the tub and put the coil over in the tub. And when that thing boils and that steam hit that coil, when it comes out the end of that pipe, nothing but whiskey.
What part does copper play in that? Sounds like you got to have some copper in there somewhere.
You got to have a copper coil. That's what you definitely got to have. Now, you can cook it in that tin oil can, 5-gallon can, but it's got to have that copper. Pour it around and around and put that in the water. Put you some ice in there so when it hit there, it'll do okay. And it comes out of that pure whiskey. And, I mean, not drinking whiskey. I had a spoon I'd put that in the kitchen, take a match and light it. If it's burnt blue, it's still strong enough, don't bother. Later on, you do that, and it go to flooding like it want to go out. Then you pull it, put some more mash in the cooker, and start the cooking again. Yeah, I'll make all that stuff. I learned it from this man I chauffeured for him. He's from down there in Kentucky. He run the still down there once upon a time, and he gave me all them recipes, 3 or 4 kinds of whiskey and grain alcohol. I never did food the alcohol much, too much expensive getting a cylinder like you had to have to put that stuff in and sugar and iced potatoes and a weight on it and let it ferment, rot in other words, and when it come out of that, it was knock your head off your head. Oh man, that's years ago. I was just a young man. I was grown enough to be driving a car for him, Mr. Stewart, and work around the house, but I was young. It's been let's say about 60 years. I was way back.
There's a guy just down by the railroad track. Yes, that guy, he blows a sack. They all come in and they lock the door. Yes, and you're talking about seeing them go. Yes, the place is only 6x4. Well, they all crowd in there, yes, and they lock the door. The sax let out with a melatonin, and you talk about your booging and your going on. Yes, it's 10:30 and it's time to eat. Barbecue bread and all the bones and meat. Yeah, you wash it all down with just a little drink of wine, and then you start to rocking just like a porcupine. Well, when you hear that horn playing soft and low, you know it's time for everybody to bottle up and go. Yeah, you all bundle up and you fall out that gate, and everybody ride home in a three-steel Cadillac gate, yeah.
I read that at one point that you settled down in Austin. What caused you to settle down?
My people all going to Corpus, and they talk. They had me a job there with the school. One of my niece's husband had been working for school right away, and they wanted to put me to work right away. And I was on my way to Corpus to take another piano playing job. I'd been playing in Houston 30 months at one place. And all they was mentioning people from home that went down there and didn't get back. They got killed. And didn't want me to go. So you can go to work here. And that boy told me, it was mad, my niece, anytime you get ready, you just let me know and they'll put you to work. I said, well, I'll let you know. So they talked. And I was scared of anything, but one man said, well, you don't know about that place down out on the highway and out of town. Might be a bad place. And go to work here and be around some of your folks and friends. So I hauled away and told them I'd go to work. So that Monday they put me in Keating Junior High School. And stayed down and they put me over across the road on Molly Dawson on 1st Street. And I stayed there a good little while and storm break. Had to drive a bus a lot of times. Some bus drivers didn't show up, and the bus had to run. He'd have to get in and he's the boss. He told me one day, he knew me pretty well after I was there a while. He said, hell, Roosevelt, I'm tired of driving the bus. So I want you to come and take that bus driving job. I said, well, Mr. Thornburg, I can't leave here. I got to stay here. If you get some custodians out there, and break them into the jobs, teach them all the water works and the hoes and the mowers and what all that had to be done there. He said, well, I'm going to let you leave you there a week. I ought to give you plenty of time. I said, well, you get who you going to put out here and let them come out here and get broke in. And then I can help you out. He said he's tired of driving bus, when he wasn't nobody else, and he's the boss, and the children had to get to school. So I went to drive the bus, and I was at the end of that school custodian work. I stayed there right at 20 years. And they gave me the honest run that nobody wouldn't keep long. They was quitting and threatening to quit all the time, going to the city park out there on that mountain, that curvy road. Little mesquite trees was the biggest trees they had out there. And if you come off that hill and them brakes fail on you, you through if you don't know what to do. I told him, I said, I don't know how dangerous that is out there. I said, but I figure I got enough skill in my driving to control it in case, brakes go out or something coming off that hill. The road's crooked going around the mountain. And so I stayed out there and they all dropped their head and said, well, you ain't think you no fool. I said, yeah, y'all thought I didn't know how dangerous it is. I know. No way you can't keep nobody out there. They work a little while and they even put an application for another job or quit. But see, I figure this about it. I ain't going to be coming if I running fast. And if the brakes go out, I'll just get over against that mountain and just let it put the pressure on it and let it drag on that mountain until it'll come to a stop. If you hold it, that steering wheel tight enough, it's ready to roll around and going around. Of course, you can't shift down. You can't shift in the reverse if you're going forward. You do but just strip the transmission. That's all you do there. Now, if you had it in gear and it's rolling, like low gear, second gear, and you raise that motor and let your clutch out, that would break it, that slow it up and stop it. So I stayed out there until I retired.
I'm a traveling hobo, and I go from town to town. I'm trying to find my baby, and my baby can't be found. Yes, since you left me, I had nothing but misery. That woman made a nervous wreck out of me. While I rode to Texas, Kansas to Tennessee. Yes, I rode on all the trains. Yes, SP and the Santa Fe. Well, trying to find my baby. That woman made a poor person out of me. I'm naked as a jaybird, no shoes on my feet, broke and hungry, and ain't had nothing to eat. Landlord tell me, with that woman I should be through, but I just tell him ain't nobody's business what I do. Write me a letter, said that she was coming home. Well, I'd be one more happy hobo, and I never more to wrong.
But I'm still holding on, and I ain't give up yet, but time brings about a change. You ain't what you used to be. Don't let nobody tell you yet, because you ain't. And I just go around. I'm up here on the kind of Mr. Orange. There ain't nobody else in the world ought to come up here. I know it gets cold up here. I ain't been up here, but I read lots. I hear about the weather, zero and all that junk, different places. You see, I've been healing around, but I still have to do for myself. And I had pneumonia on both sides one time. Then I had it single. I had it double in Waco and Abilene. I had it again. I left and went to Amarillo and Pampa before I got well. And I'm not the strongest person in the world, and I have to take care of myself. But I ain't give up yet.
you now. Spending my money I didn't seem to care. Taking my friend out for a good time. Buying bootleg whiskey, champagne and wine. Soon as my money began to droop so low, couldn't find a friend nowhere I go. Seem always strange, yes, but without a doubt, nobody knows you down and out. Nobody knows you. Yes, when you're down and out. In your pocket, not one penny. And your friend, you have not any. Soon as you begin to kind of get up on your feet, a lot of your friends you have a chance to meet seem almost strange, but really without a doubt, nobody knows you when you're down and out. Now, folks, you know Bill Jones. That old pants he wears is made out of ladies' old skirt. There be 10 below zero. Bill won't have no home. You walk around here somewhere in Austin with a pair of them BBDQs on. I met old Bill the other day and he had nerve to ask me to loan him a dime. I looked at Bill and I saw the reply. I looked at Bill, yes, and I had to tell him this. Get a dime for me, boy. You'd have to be in this fit. Deaf, dumb, blind, and cannot see. Both your legs cut off right smack up to your knee. Get a telegram that your uncle is sick and your grandpa's dying. And then maybe come to me. I might, I don't know, let you have that dime. 'Cause nobody knows you. Yes, when you're down and out. In your pocket, not one penny. Yes, your friend, you find out that you have not any. As soon as you begin to kind of get up on your feet, a lot of your friends you got a chance to meet seem always strange, but really, without a doubt, nobody knows you when you're down